All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the rolling Seattle Seahawks right now. They were down by as many as 14 yesterday on the road against the New York Jets. They scored the final 19. They have now won 3 straight football games on the road against San Francisco, the Arizona Cardinals, now the New York Jets on the road, and they are still atop the NFC West. It's crazy. And yesterday's game was just kind of one of those games you really had to watch. It was insane. It was very entertaining. If you have not watched this game, if you're a Seahawks fan specifically, you haven't watched this game, go check out the highlights. I'm sure they're like 10 minutes long. It was an absolute movie. And the Seahawks, the Seahawks were one of the first videos I ever made about 2 years ago. They have lost this type of football game every single time I've watched the Seahawks play in the last 2 seasons. And what's crazy is Seattle's 7-5 right now. It's weird. Their playoff chances right now are 37%, but keep in mind they were below 26 entering this football game, which they were leading the NFC West is still kind of weird. It was in single digits before the 3-game winning streak that they're currently on. But folks, in the NFL media world, whether it's an article, whether it's TV, YouTube, you name it, you would have no idea. You would have no idea what the Seattle Seahawks did yesterday because it is all anti-Jets propaganda. It is all, oh, now we're unsure. Is Aaron Rodgers, he's a long shot to come back to New York next season. He might retire in 2025. What's going on in New York? They should have never fired Saleh. This is why they're struggling, blah, 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 blah. The Seahawks won that football game, and I have not heard a single soul talk about it. So that's what we're doing in today's video. But folks, hit that like button, hit that sub button. We are back making Seahawks videos. Thank you for watching last week's. If we could try and get this one to 300 likes for the 3-game winning streak, that would mean the absolute world to me. But it's crazy because, Seattle was a team that the Vegas odds had at 7.5 this season. And it made a little bit of sense. Super talented team. But you had a brand new head coach in Mike Macdonald. You brought in new coordinators, you brought in coaches all over the coaching staff, right? Just a complete regimen shift. And Vegas, Seattle won 9 games last year. Vegas had them at 7.5. So most people didn't really think, Seattle was going in the wrong direction. People thought Seattle was going in the right direction. Let's get back to defensive-oriented football. Let's get back to the defense. That's why Mike Macdonald was hired. But it's probably going to take him a year or two. Well, they have a couple of games, so they have a few games left in the season. We're only 12 games in, and Seattle has already hit that 7-game win mark. And just really quickly looking ahead, next Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals, then you have back-to-back home games against my Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, and then your final 2 games on the road against Chicago and Los Angeles. So very solid teams. They're all going to be very competitive, but Seattle's on a roll right now. They've won 3 straight games. And like I said, this is a game they always seem to lose. So the player of the game yesterday by far was Leonard Williams. I remember last year, the Seahawks organization got ragged. They got ragged on trading for Leonard Williams so badly. Now, he was yesterday taking on the New York Jets, the team that drafted him in 2015. Here was his stat line. He blocked an extra point attempt. He returned a 92-yard touchdown interception. He also had 2 sacks on the final drive of the game. And here's just to give you an illustration of how chaotic this game was. There were 2 kick returns from Seattle that were fumbled, Shenault and D. Williams. By EPA, Seattle had its worst special teams performance this century at minus 15.8. And they also had the worst outing by any team on kickoffs and kick returns since the year 2000. And folks, this was a road game and they won the game. And now all we are hearing is, and I get it, the New York Jets are 3-9, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. He's still talented. They got Breece Hall. They got Devontae Adams. They got a really solid defense. They got Garrett Wilson. They got pieces all over. And I know they're 3-9, but it's still a team that is trying to win football games because the Seahawks pretty much, it was a long shot. The Jets were going to win out, but Seahawks pretty much just kicked out for sure the New York Jets making the playoffs because 8-9 certainly in the AFC is not going to get you in. They probably weren't. The odds were probably very, very small. But the point is, They just eliminated the New York Jets on the road, and a win is a win. I don't really care how ugly it can be at certain times, but I just know, like, watching that game, it was so weird. The two muffed returns were so devastating. Usually one, they say football is a game of inches. Usually one of those is devastating. They had two and still won the football game. And here's kind of what I want to illustrate. First off, JSN has turned into, we'll start with Geno, 20 of 31, 206 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Kind of just took what the defense was giving them. It was a very hard-fought game. They barely even had the football in the entire first half, but he was still getting first downs. The Jets were all over him. He had 3 sacks. He was running for his life a lot of the time. You had a 4th and goal opportunity. They had like 7 plays inside the 5-yard line, and they couldn't get it. It was not Geno's best game, but like we always say, Geno's not going to lose you a football game. Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, the Seahawks team only ran the ball for 84 yards on 23 attempts. They did have Zach Charbonnet's game-winning touchdown, or I guess go-ahead touchdown. Charbonnet ran very hard. It was probably his best game as a backup behind Ken this season, and it's even just quick side tangent because I want to talk about this defense to finish the video. Quick side tangent. Seattle keeps getting in these short yardage situations, and they just are not able to get the touchdown. And it's so weird to me because, I got DK, I got JSN, I got Noah Fant, I got a bunch of tight ends who can catch footballs, and I've got big body Ken Walker, I got Zach Charbonnet. I don't really understand the red zone woes, or I should say the short yardage situations. I don't really understand the woes. They're working out the kinks, and the 3-game winning streak, the last 3 games, they've come through. The offense has come through in these short yardage situations when they've needed to. But here's the illustration. Oh, I did want to say about JSN. He's had 69 or more receiving yards 5 times in the last 5 games. He had only 1 in his first 24. In my Seahawks video last week, I called him emerging top 10 wide receiver in the National Football League, and that is literally reigning true week by week. But here's an illustration of what Mike McDonald, this Seahawks team, is doing, because once again, you're not going to hear anything about it unless you go to like a more niche Seattle Seahawks channel or news site or what have you, or if you just live in that area. Of course, I live in Florida, so it's complete opposite. I don't hear anything about Seattle. The highest graded Seahawks players in that win yesterday against the Jets per PFF: Leonard Williams, phenomenal game, 92.6. Julian Love, 86.1. Tariq Woolen, 79.3. Kobe Bryant, who's been a freaking beast this season, 77.5. And then you got Geno at 75.9. The point is, this was a defensive hire, and as the weeks are progressing, folks, they gave up only 21 this week. They gave up only 6. Didn't allow a touchdown 1 week ago to divisional rival in Arizona. Only gave up 17 to San Francisco. This defense is coming around in crazy form. It looks like the first couple of games, Seattle Seahawks defense. And I'm telling you, I do not understand this 37% chance to make the playoffs. I do not understand it by any means. But folks, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I got to take back a rental car. Let me know your thoughts on that game down below. And guys, give me your opinion of the percent chance the Seahawks can make the playoffs, because it's not 37. Thanks for watching. Peace.